Hello, and welcome to the English with Neil Learn English podcast. This is your host, Neil Humphrey. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about the hustle culture. Now, if you don't know what the hustle culture is, it's basically defined as a lifestyle of someone who works a lot and they never rest. And over the years, this hustle culture has gotten a bad name, and I just like to share my thoughts on the hustle culture and what I think about it. So, when I was a regular employee, when I had a regular job, I started work around 8:30 and I finished around 5:30 or 6, and I didn't have to work overtime. If I had to work overtime, it was very rare. But for the most part, I finished work at 6 o'clock and I got home around 7 o'clock. This was my normal day. And when I was a regular employee, I didn't consider myself a hard worker. I mean, I worked hard while I was at work, but I didn't think about it as hard work. I just thought about it as work. But once I became a full-time entrepreneur is someone who owns their own business. So I've been an entrepreneur for about 5 years. And once I became an entrepreneur, I definitely noticed my work increased. And instead of finishing work at, let's say, 6 o'clock, I'd be working until maybe 9 o'clock at night. And it wasn't because I wanted to. It was because I had to, especially in the beginning. In the beginning, I was trying to get customers. I was trying to set up a system, and I had to do a lot of learning. So if you looked at me, you would consider me at that time a workaholic. A workaholic is someone who loves to work, or someone who works all the time. And in the beginning, I admit I was a workaholic. So then I found out about this word called hustle culture. People who work a lot, people who never take breaks, people who are just on the grind. When we say on the grind, it just means they work a lot. So when I heard about this hustle culture, I thought, wow, that sounds just like me. Because in the beginning, I never took breaks and my lifestyle was always busy. And now here I am 5 years later, and nothing has changed. I still work a lot of hours, but now it's become so natural that I don't consider it work. Sometimes I feel like it's a hobby. Sometimes my wife says, Neil, you're working too much. Just take a break. But honestly, I like my work, and I don't consider it as work. I consider it as just something that I enjoy to do, because my mind is always moving. I always have new ideas. I like to make things. I like to design things. I like to try new things out. So my mind is always moving. So to my wife, she thinks I'm a workaholic. But for me, it's just a part of who I am. This is just my lifestyle. And so a year ago, there were these videos coming out on YouTube saying that the hustle culture is negative, or the hustle culture is unhealthy. And yeah, I think it is unhealthy if you're working until exhaustion and you're stressed out and you're depressed, yes, I think if you are working that much, definitely the hustle culture is unhealthy. But for those people that like to work, for the people like myself that just enjoy working, I don't consider it unhealthy. I think it's healthy because we're doing something that we like. And if you do something that you like, you want to do it all the time. And so that's what I think about the hustle culture. I think it's healthy if you like to work. And obviously it's unhealthy if you're working until exhaustion and you're taking medicine because you're all stressed out. So if you don't know about the hustle culture, do some research on it. Go on YouTube and type in the word hustle culture. Somebody that might show up is a YouTuber by the name of Gary V. Gary, Gary, last name Vee. He's like a big name in the hustle culture space. So do some research on him. But I'd like to know, in your country, do you have something like a hustle culture? Do people in your country or your culture work really, really hard until exhaustion? I know here in Japan, there's a big hustle culture, but I don't even think they consider it a culture. It's just their lifestyle. And that's what I view it as. For me, it's just a lifestyle. So I'm curious to know, what do you think about the hustle culture? And is this culture prominent in your country? All right, everyone. That is it for today's episode. Thank you for tuning in to the English with Neil podcast. I look forward to speaking with you in the next one. Take care, everyone, and talk to you soon. Peace.